So we are walking in the Danube River bank.
Guy is Vuk Stefanovic Karadžić, great reformer of our language.
Bomb on us drop our allies, like American and English people.
Okay.
I like Bollywood.
In the early 2022, when the world was still struggling with COVID-19 and very few countries were offering travel visas, I decided to visit a country where I didn't need a visa to travel to. I could have gone to Morocco, Albania or Turkey, but I decided to visit a city which is not very touristy, a city that was destroyed more than 40 times and rebuilt every single time, a city with a diverse set of architecture, history and many more. So I decided to visit Belgrade, the capital of Serbia.
When I was in your position, I was suggesting we bomb Belgrade.
If President Milosevic will not make peace, we will limit his ability to make war.
Serbia was the first country in Europe to allow visa-free travel to Indian passport holders. Those of you who don't know me or those who don't follow my channel, then let me tell you that I live in Ireland. There is no direct flight from Ireland to Serbia, so I started from Dublin to Belgrade with a layover in Munich where I barely managed to catch my Lufthansa flight. My flight from Munich is about to land. Currency exchange and buying a SIM card was really smooth. Internet is super cheap in Serbia when compared to the Western countries, but it's not as cheap as in India. €1 is equal to 115 Serbian dinars. I think I can get better rates in the city.
Confirm. Who is this guy in the note? I wanted a Nikola Tesla note, but
Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla is on 100.
100?
Yes.
Okay, I have a Tesla. Okay, I have.
I've cleared the immigration and it's now time to explore the city. So I have reached the Slavia Square now. This is a very central commercial point in Belgrade with lots of hotels and offices.
This is the public transport card that is used in Belgrade.
After reaching Slavia Square, I went to check into my Airbnb and then went out for a breakfast. I have ordered a Serbian breakfast. It's really very cheap. It's just like 2.5 euros. You can see that it has got salami, then ivar, sausage, bacon, eggs. Ivar is like a red chutney made from eggplant or brinjal and paprika. Breakfast in Serbia can last up to 12 noon. Many people in Serbia have burek and yogurt as breakfast. There are also other Serbian delicacies like reform torta, creme pita.
This is our guy, Guru.
Hi.
Can you just remove your hoodie?
Yeah, okay, fine. Yes, thank you.
It's not even cold anymore.
So,
Guru lives in a very depressing country called Germany. So this trip was really refreshing for him.
2 months ago, they made it mandatory in Germany to even wear masks in front of your computers when you're working. Okay.
So even in his office.
It was really suffocating. We had like 4 hours of masks on and we had headaches. All of the employees in the company.
After my friend Guru joined me, we explored Skaderlija and the surrounding areas.
Lots of abandoned factories, buildings have been converted into bistros, pubs, underground nightclubs. You can see old buildings, lots of graffiti. There are just lots of graffiti.
There are two things about Belgrade that really took me by surprise.
Yes.
The first is the English proficiency of the local people.
Okay, and make it a bit spicy for me. Yeah.
You see, Serbian language uses Cyrillic alphabets like Russian and Bulgarian, and not the Latin alphabets like in English, French, Spanish, or Romanian. Last year, when I was in Sofia, Bulgaria, I had a little bit difficulty in talking to the locals. However, everyone I met in Belgrade was very comfortable in English. The second thing that took me by surprise was the general sense of history consciousness among the people of Serbia.
This wonderful woman is a painter named Nadezhda Petrovic, and she was a nurse at First World War. And she was like great painter and huge humanist.
Okay.
While walking along the streets of Skaderlija, we had a random chat with a local guy who gave us so much insight into the Serbian politics and history.
The old street,
Yeah.
this stone is
Yeah.
from Turkish age.
Okay.
Osmanic,
Ottoman.
Ottomanic.
Yeah.
They, nation who forget the over history, he must remind again and again and
Yeah.
again. Too much wars, too much stupid things,
Yes.
like
Someone told like Belgrade was destroyed by more than 50 times.
yeah.
40 times or 50 times.
Yeah, and you know what is strange? Because bomb on us drop our allies, like American and English people.
Okay.
They say like we drop bombs on Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
They're soldiers,
Yeah.
and they kill the civilians.
Civilians.
Let's take a pause here. When did Serbia become friends with USA? Why did USA or England bomb Serbia? What's Yugoslavia? I think it's really important to explain a few things about the Serbian history so that you can understand the context in this video. Trust me, I will be very quick. It would be less than 4 minutes. The history of Belgrade goes back to 7000 BC. The region around Danube was divided into several small kingdoms, tribes and clans during the Bronze Age, Iron Age and the medieval era. They were involved in several wars which I don't think are relevant to this video, so I will simply fast forward and go to the 12th century. The first unified Serbian state, which kind of gave an identity to the modern day Serbs, was formed in the 12th century under the leadership of Stefan Nemanja. He founded the Nemanjić dynasty. During the Nemanjić dynasty, Serbia entered into a golden period of growth and prosperity for almost 300 years. Stefan Nemanja's third and youngest son, Rastko, became the monk and took the name of Sava. So Saint Sava is the first Archbishop of Serbia, and he is very important to the faith of modern day Serbia and Montenegro. Now fast forward to 1450s. Ottoman Empire was at its peak under Mehmed II. The southern part of Serbia lost its independence to Turkish rulers. Serbia was under the subjugation of the Ottomans till the middle of the 19th century. After several wars, they finally managed to win against the Ottomans and formed the Principality of Serbia in 1878. However, the northern part of Serbia, that is the modern day autonomous Vojvodina, was under the domination of the Habsburgs or the Austro-Hungarians till 1918, that is the end of the World War I. Talking about World War I, Serbia was with the allied forces of Britain, France, USA and Russia. That's why my friend from Skaderlija told that Americans and English people were once our allies. Now Austria-Hungary or the Habsburgs and the Ottoman Turkey were on the losing side in World War I. Since Austria-Hungary lost in the World War I, Serbia managed to integrate Vojvodina into the Principality of Serbia. This led to the formation of the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. Fast forward to World War II. Yugoslavia was on the winning side in World War II. However, the political landscape of Yugoslavia changed during the war. From the Kingdom of Yugoslavia, it became the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. Parliamentary elections were held in 1945. That's when the most famous Yugoslav came into picture. Oh no, I'm not talking about Novak Djokovic here. I'm talking about Josip Broz Tito. He became the Prime Minister, President, and the Marshal of Yugoslavia. Tito's ideal of socialism was more like a market socialism, but it wasn't about a free market like capitalism. So Tito and Yugoslavia neither supported Russia and the capitalist USA during the Cold War, at least in theory. So that's when the Third World or non-alignment movement came into picture. After the death of Tito in 1980, Yugoslavia was torn into conflicts and civil wars in the 1990s. Even today, the conflict with Kosovo is still ongoing. Yugoslavia disintegrated into 7 countries over time. So, why did USA attack Serbia? You see, after the breakup of Yugoslavia in 1990s, there was political unrest in the Balkans. So, there was civil wars in several countries like Bosnia and Herzegovina. There was also civil war in Kosovo, and several ethnic Albanians were killed by the Serbian military. In response to this event, NATO forces led by USA attacked Serbia without the prior approval of United Nations. So they bombed Belgrade and several other places around it for almost 10 weeks. The NATO forces were never put on trial for bombing Belgrade or killing the innocent Serbian civilians. Now that I have explained the itsy-bitsy details about the Serbian history, it's time to get back to the vlog. After the first day of the trip, we were really tired due to the traveling. We took the second day a bit slow. We didn't explore the nightlife in the first 2 days. We decided to explore the shopping malls in the second day and buy some stuffs. So here is a travel hack. If you purchase goods above 50 euros, then you might be able to claim a refund of VAT while leaving the airport. In the meantime, we managed to figure a place near Slavia Square where we could dine for less than 250 rupees or less than 3 euros.
So you can see the prices over here. So they have all written here like in Serbian as well as in English. It's not very tough. The prices are really cool. It's pretty cheap. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Belgrade has several shopping malls. I would say the shopping malls in Belgrade are definitely bigger and better than that in Ireland. The Delta City Mall was really big. Belgrade is divided into 17 municipalities. For the first 4 days, we stayed near the Slavia Square, that is in the Vracar municipality. Popular places in Belgrade like the Nikola Tesla Museum, Kalemegdan Market, the National Library of Serbia, and the famous St. Sava Church are in this neighborhood. This is a rich neighborhood in Belgrade and has a lot of wonderful restaurants and cafes.
This is the Saint Sava temple, and the view of this temple looks magnificent. There is some construction work going on here. Looks like it's being renovated. It's an Eastern Orthodox church, and Saint Sava is the founder of the Eastern Orthodox Church in Serbia over here.
Eastern Orthodox churches have large domes and huge arches, just like the Byzantine architecture.
Wow. Okay.
This is Saint Nicholas. The roof of Saint Sava Church is decorated with 24-carat pure gold mosaics. The fun fact is that the mosaic decorations was partly funded by Russian oil company Gazprom and the Russian state. Later in the afternoon, we decided to enjoy the sunset in Kalemegdan. There are 2 places in Belgrade which I can highly recommend if you want to enjoy the sunset. One is the famous Kalemegdan Park, and second is the Danube River bank in Zemun. I will show you the Zemun side of the city later in the video.
This is the beautiful Belgrade fortress. यहाँ से अच्छा view आ रहा है. It's a nice sunset. It's an amazing view, an amazing sunset.
The Belgrade fortress was built by the Romans in the 2nd century AD. This fortress has witnessed several battles over the years. It has been destroyed several times and rebuilt by many kings over the years. There is no fee to enter into the Belgrade fortress. This is the famous Victor statue. This was constructed to celebrate the victory of Serbia over Austro-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire in the Balkan Wars and in the First World War. So Serbia was on the winning side in the First World War.
This is the perfect sunset view.
There is no sun to set there.
It's the dusk.
Look, this is the confluence of Sava and the Danube River. After the sun went down, we decided to go back to our room, freshen up, and then explore the nightclubs. Belgrade has one of the best nightlife in Europe. It kind of gives you Berlin-like vibes, but at the same time it has its own unique features. The Cetinska area of Belgrade is actually called the Mini Berlin. If you visit Berlin, you can find crazy parties in old factories and damaged buildings. So if you visit the Cetinska area of Belgrade, you will find a lot of parties in old buildings and deserted factories. We went to an underground nightclub called Drugstore. If you are into techno and electronic genre of music, I highly recommend this place. We also explored some of the other nightclubs like Hype and Freestyler clubs. The best nightclubs in Belgrade are in the Savamala district along the banks of the river Sava and in the Cetinska area. After getting wasted in the nightclubs and partying till 6 am in the morning, we returned to our Airbnb and went to bed. So on the day 4, we also had a train to Bar in Montenegro in the evening. So we checked out and then we spent some time roaming around in the Starigrad area. The train journey from Belgrade to Bar is one of the most spectacular and scenic journeys in Europe. The train goes through several tunnels in the mountains and viaducts. You cannot book this train ticket online. So remember the second day where we didn't do much except moving in the shopping malls. So that was the day when we also booked the tickets.
How much is one ticket? Okay, and the sleeper is 3,251.
The journey is around 480 kilometers and it takes nearly 13 hours. During the journey, we met several friendly people who didn't mind sharing their dinner and invited us to their homes.
This is traditional hospitality of our nations, Montenegro and Serbia as well. But he said in Germany, if you invite 4 people at your house, you have only 4 pieces of meat, 4 pieces.
Yes. And they will never make more than enough, okay?
I also realized that people in Serbia still remember the good old days when the relationship between India and Yugoslavia was really great. The older generation specifically is fond of India and well aware of the Indian history.
Yes, but we live in
India, Serbia,
yes.
So that was something I was really surprised. Anyways, Montenegro vlogs will be separate ones, so stay tuned for them. We stayed in Montenegro for 5 days and then returned back to Belgrade. This time we stayed in the New Belgrade Municipality.
Today I am in the New Belgrade area. This place is very different from the other part of Belgrade. I'm staying in the block 34 and I'm not sure if you know of this fact, but the architectural design of the Neo Belgrad is called the Brutalist architecture. The construction of the building started in 1948 and by 1952 this place was a municipality of its own. After the World War II, there were many buildings which were destroyed in Belgrade. So the Yugoslavia government made housing its priority. They wanted to shelter as many people who lost their homes as possible in the shortest period of time. Therefore, they decided New Belgrade was the perfect place for a new start. You can see that these buildings are very simple. They are just brick mortar and cement kind of design. It's not vibrantly colored. Even if some buildings are colored, they are very neutral in their color tone.
On day 6, we explored the Bohemian town of Belgrade called Zemun. If you are an Indian I know it sounds like Jamun, but honestly, walking on the cobbled streets of Zemun gives you the vibes of Prague, Czech Republic. Zemun is so different in architecture from other parts of Belgrade because it was part of the Habsburg dynasty until 1918. So Habsburg are basically the kings from Austria and Hungary. Perhaps the most iconic architecture in Zemun is the Gardos Tower or the Millennium Tower. It was completed in 1896 to officially mark 1000 years of Hungarian settlement along the Danube River.
This is 32 centimeter, roughly 1 feet or 12.5 inch pizza, and it's cost somewhere around 700 to 800 dinars. And we are dining at a very fine place in Zemun, and it costs like in terms of euro, it would be somewhere around 6 to 7 euros.
Yeah.
6 to 6.5 euros, I believe.
6 to 6.5.
Okay, so had I been in Ireland, and had I been in Ireland eating this pizza, this would have cost me 12 to 13 euros. Okay, so it's almost double the price in Ireland if you eat a pizza of this size.
We explored a bunch of pubs and nightclubs that evening. On day 7, Guru left early in the morning. He had a flight around 10 am. So I decided to explore the rest of the day myself. I had a flight in the evening. I went to the Museum of Yugoslavia. I found some interesting collection in the museum, like the statue of Mahatma Gandhi as a gift to Tito, the welcome wreaths from India, the portrait of Indira Gandhi, the military dresses of the Yugoslav army, a mascot of Spanish Revolution, and several communist era posters.
Okay, so I just met two cool girls. One of them is a huge fan of Bollywood. You were student of the year. Okay, that's what you told.
That's how it started. I like Bollywood. I really like their culture and everything. So I think when Prague came out, it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago. Just before the pandemic, I believe.
Yeah, I also think that.
Yeah.
That was the next movie that I watched.
I left Serbia later in the evening with a bottle of rakia as souvenir. So rakia is a very popular brandy in the Balkans and Serbia, which is made from plum or apricot or cherry. The rakia has more than 40% alcohol content. Serbia is a very safe country for solo travelers and women. I did not face any racism or racial bias at any point during my stay. In fact, I found Belgrade to be much safer than Paris, London or Dublin. There is definitely organized crime in Serbia like mafia or drug lords, etc. However, unless you are an absolute idiot and lack common sense, as a tourist, I don't think you will get into any trouble. There are incidents of pickpockets and these cases might happen. However, this can happen in any other big cities. So just use common sense while you are traveling.
Somebody stole my phone.
Stole your phone?
Yes.
Can I give you a ring?
Anyways, the amazing hospitality of the people, the food, and countless stories made my Serbia trip memorable. So stay tuned for more travel stories.
Before 3 years, before Corona and everything,
Yeah.
I have some tourists from China,
Yeah.
They tell me, and bring us some Caesar salad.
Okay.
I bring two plates full of meat. And two salad, Caesar salad like this.
Yes.
Two.
Yes.
Yeah.
They started screaming, Wow! I said, what? Something was wrong. No, it's too much. It is for 10 person,